According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, the average injury and illness rate in the warehousing and storage industry is 5 for every 100 workers. When it comes to warehouse safety, you have to be proactive and always determine ways to mitigate risk and injuries in your facility. Here are some effective methods to improve health and safety in your facility. Slips, trips, and falls are among the leading causes of injuries in general industry. Fortunately, they can always be avoided with good housekeeping practices. Avoid accumulation of trash and loose debris in walking areas. Frequent housekeeping and cleaning up spills when they occur is essential to avoid slip and trips. Walking areas and egress paths should be clean and clear of debris, obstructions, and clutter. At doorways and in high-traffic areas, consider installing walk-off mats to avoid slipping, especially in wet working areas. Having an organized warehouse is also important. Ensure adequate shelving is installed and supports the weight of the stored material. Ensure aisles have proper overhead clearance to avoid head injuries. Materials should be stored flush with the shelving and not protrude into the walking areas. When heavy or bulky items must be handled manually, store these items at waist level. This will reduce the possibility of overexertion. Items such as ladders that could fall causing struck-by injuries should be stored securely to prevent accidental movement. Fire hazards are frequently encountered in facilities due to improperly stored flammable and combustible liquids. Open ignition sources and other fire hazards should be prevented. Avoid accumulation of items that can cause fires and store flammable items in approved fire lockers. Always dispose of oily rags and combustibles in a metal container positioned far away from any ignition sources. Ensure doorway and exits are free of obstructions. Perform monthly inspection and fire protection systems, such as fire extinguishers, pool stations, and emergency lights. Slip, trip, and fall injuries cause 15% of all accidental deaths, and 1 in 6 of all lost time incidents involved slips, trips, and falls. You can mitigate these types of accidents by conducting inspections of your facility, performing detailed investigations for accidents and near misses. Power tools and equipment account for over 400,000 injuries yearly. Most of these injuries are from not wearing proper PPE, failing to observe warning signs, verifying machine guards are in place, and misuse of equipment. All these steps shared would be pointless if there was no formal process to assess their effectiveness. Your facility should be inspected regularly, in most cases daily, weekly, or monthly. To stay ahead of any potential hazard, have a checklist at hand and go over each inspection task thoroughly. Doing so will help to avoid overlooking potential hazards that may exist. An important aspect of any safety program is employee training. Training should be one of the first items covered with new hires before working in a facility. Employees should be trained on safe work practices, PPE required for each activity, and how to identify unsafe conditions. It is no use having a detailed set of standards and rules if your employees have little or no knowledge of them. Reviewing safe work practices during training sessions is great, but they must be incorporated into daily activities for them to be effective. That means training and informing employees of these work practices frequently. Just as important is identifying potential hazards with highly visible signs and labels. Signs and labels provides workers with information on the potential hazards in the workplace. Ensuring safety in your warehouse is everyone's responsibility. We have a duty to recognize and reward behaviors that emphasize safety as a priority. Doing so creates a safety culture. Follow these basic steps to keep your workers safe and healthy in their working environment. Keep your workers safe and informed with our Toolbox Talk software. Want to learn more? Click the link below in the video description.